Marcus Aurelius's opening statement. According to Marcus Aurelius, you possess power over your head. Not external circumstances recognize this, and you'll find resilience. In a world where feelings can be raging waves, how can we locate our anchor? Come study 7 Stoic attitudes with us. Lessons that are essential for mastery. Your feelings and negotiating life's challenges with steadfast determination. Before we start, I would be grateful if you enjoyed the video, so that you can assist me in moving forward, propagating the Stoic way of thinking. If you haven't subscribed, I suggest need to sign up and turn on the bell so that you don't overlook any videos. First lesson, Lesson 1. Recognize what you can control. Recognize what you can control. Have you ever been entangled in a not the type of storm that includes rain and thunder? However, life's storms, unforeseen circumstances, disappointments, or abruptly alters the philosopher's Stoicism from classical Rome and Greece have a lesson that serves as a sense of stability in. These storms highlight the control dichotomy. Imagine that you are organizing an outdoor occasion, and even with all of your planning, now when it's raining, you're powerless to regardless of how much you'd like to. However, your response to the rain is, it's totally up to you. You might complain, get irritated, or perhaps you might adjust and relocate the gathering inside, or consider the rain as a welcome shift. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus was born as a slave and went on to become one of the most significant intellectuals of his time. Summarized it clearly, we have some influence over certain things, and others don't think it's that easy, but in this simplicity conceals a deep insight. That has the capacity to change our lives are confronted with several circumstances, some of which we can influence, such as our everyday schedules, the books we read, or the people we spend time with. But many things are beyond of our control. World happenings, other people's behavior, the development of time, as well as the weather. This is when things start to get interesting. Stoics thought that our health depends not on outside circumstances, but rather on way we perceive and react to them. Not the actual occurrence, but rather our assessment of the incident that results in our feelings. Consider a moment when you experienced a setback. Perhaps you were not hired for the position you desired. Right now, it seemed like a catastrophe, but maybe you came to realize it over time was actually a boon that led you to a more favorable opportunity or individual expansion. However, how can we actually do this? Begin by asking yourself, is this something I can influence? Take action if the response is affirmative. If the response is no, there is a chance to practice flexibility and acceptance by genuinely comprehending and assimilating. Using this idea, we can set ourselves free. From needless suffering, we can manage living in peace with the knowledge that, although the winds are beyond our control, we must modify our sails. In a society that frequently seems chaotic, the control dichotomy is a lighthouse of clarity, serves as a reminder to concentrate our energy in the most important places and to accept the tranquility and be aware that some things are just out of our reach. Lesson number 2. Think things through. Before acting, reflect before the second lesson. Responding. In the current digital era, where instant is frequently honored as the art of reflection, may appear to be a remnant of the past, but it's precisely this act of pause and wondering if that may save us. Grace in a society that expects quick answers. Think about how many times we encounter involves both major and minor decisions, from selecting a meal at a dining establishment to choosing a career path across the spectrum. There are many options, but it's not just the size of these choices that is important, it's how we go up to them. Let's examine a typical situation. Reading anything that makes you feel something. Perhaps a co-worker is interrogating your job, or a friend casually bringing up remark that the gut response could be wrath or defensiveness. But what if, rather of plunging straight into it, whirlpool of emotions, you retreated a step? By giving oneself permission to, you're not repressing your detachment. Feelings, you're allowing them to breathe, to be understood. This reflective exercise is not about avoidance or passive acceptance, is regarding active participation in our feelings and thoughts. It involves posing insightful queries on why. Did this comment have such a profound impact on me? What fundamental convictions or prior experiences are impacting my present? My instant response is based on my feelings, on the current circumstances, or baggage from the past. Furthermore, contemplation before to action is an instrument that promotes empathy by providing. We also give ourselves time to take into account other people's viewpoints. Perhaps that coworker had a difficult day. Maybe the acquaintance was unaware of the weight of what they said. By introspection, we provide the opportunity to knowing not only for ourselves, but for those in our immediate vicinity. This behavior in partnerships can be a foundation. How many miscommunications might there be? Prevented if we pause to think before responding, the number of bridges that could be constructed rather than destroyed. During these times of introspection, we discover compassion, clarity, and kinship. Additionally, in work environments, the capacity to stop and think is essential. Leaders that take the time to think before decision-making is frequently more admired and successful. They are regarded as thoughtful, prudent, and measured in their decisions that are frequently the result of introspection. Endure over time in a society that frequently seems to be moving at reflection. At a breakneck pace, turns into a kind of protest, silent but impactful declaration that we will not be carried away by the waves of instantaneity is a promise to ourselves, to our health, and the standard of our engagements with the outside world. To put it simply, thinking before acting it's more than just a practice. Philosophy is a lifestyle that supports depth over breadth, comprehension over impulsivity, and deep relationships over brief encounters. It's a travel within that profoundly extends outward consequences, influencing not only our replies, but the foundation of our lives. Practice dispassion in Lesson 3. Practice dispassion in Lesson number 3. In a society that frequently seems like an emotional whirlpool, the notion of dispassionate practice may seem out of style. Location, but let's examine it in more detail, really refers to the transformational potential. It maintains that dispassion is not about repressing feelings or becoming into disregarding the environment we live in. It's about developing a well-rounded viewpoint. Amidst the tempest, there is stillness. Imagine being able to see things happen, circumstances, and even your personal feelings without becoming overpowered by them. When was the last time you saw a captivating film? There were tense and exciting times, perhaps even grief. As you were immersed in the narrative, you always knew in your heart that it was only a film. You took your time assisting the hero or comfort the character who is crying, noticed how you felt, yet you stayed in where you sit. This is what practice is all about. Dispassion being actively involved in life's range of emotions, but also being aware of when to stay sitting in the viewing in your mental theater without absorbing the drama. This strategy turns into a lifeline in our information overload in the modern day. We are inundated with news every day, notifications and updates responding fervently to each and every item of information would always be lost, worn out. Dispassion provides a safety net and a means of interact with the world more sustainable, impartial, and balanced way. Also plays a crucial part in interpersonal connections, that we've all been in circumstances where discussions become heated when disputes occur. During such times, exercising dispassion can make the distinction between a constructive dialogue and a detrimental dispute. It enables us to listen more skillfully, to react, not to react, and to resolve disputes with comprehension as well as grace. The first step in developing dispassion is self-awareness through regular check-in with ourselves. Acknowledging our emotional triggers and being aware of our patterns makes a void between the stimuli and reply. There is freedom to choose in that area. Our responses to intentional activity instead of impulsive, yet if dispassion may seem like disengagement from the pleasures of life, and in fact, it makes them better. By avoiding becoming unduly dependent on results, we are able to completely engage with the voyage, relishing every second without the persistent dread of change or loss. The goal of dispassion practice is to discover stability in a world that is always changing. A compass pointing in the direction of inner peace, directing us through the diverse landscapes with elegance. Adopting this approach allows us to not only enhance our personal life, while simultaneously bringing a clarity and serenity to those all around us. Lesson number 4. Will this still be important in 5 years? Question number 4. Will this issue in 5 years? There are many challenging times in life. Our endurance, fortitude, and outlook from small annoyances, such as a spilled coffee, to more important problems such as arguments with family members or days, are interspersed with events that provoke a variety of feelings. When things get heated, it's simple to get enmeshed in the urgency of our sentiments. A negative remark, a missing deadline, or an anniversary that is overlooked can seem like the end of the world. However, a single impactful question can change our viewpoint and provide clarity. In 5 years, will this still be relevant? This straightforward yet important query serves like a time machine in our minds that transports us looking to the future and enabling us to back at the current time. Suddenly, that contentious dispute or that a lost chance is observed in a distinct light. The majority of the issues we worry about now, footnotes that will be forgotten in the story of our lives. Examine the difficulties and concerns you had. 5. How many of them still hold after years? Wait today. How many have been eclipsed by novel experiences, memories, and lessons learned? This insight can be both humble and freeing. To use this query as a frequent touchstone aids in setting priorities. Our worries, it helps us in differentiating between short-term obstacles and long-term effects. For example, a poor workday could feel overpowered right now in the big. Ultimately, it's only one day in a decades-long career. Additionally, this viewpoint promotes resilience. When confronted with hardship, reminding ourselves of the larger picture can lessen worry and encourage problem-solving. Rather than becoming overwhelmed by the issue at hand, we can plan and adjust and proceed. Understanding that time frequently provides answers and clarity, but it's not only about downplaying our worries. This inquiry also motivates us to pay attention to what's really important. If we wish for our choices and actions to possess enduring importance, we must invest on personal development and relationships, as well as experiences that endure time in a society that frequently highlights, will this issue still be relevant in 5 years? Is a lighthouse pointing us in the direction of a life of goal, viewpoint, and tranquility? By frequently returning to this query, we can handle the highs and lows of life with grace, making certain that our vitality and the focus is on what really matters. Lesson number 5. Maintain a Stoic notebook. Lesson 5. Maintain a Stoic journal. Writing in a journal has been honored in all civilizations and epics, but as a tool as well as a record of occurrences for clarity, growth, and reflection. Stoics, with their focus on self-awareness and improvement of oneself, were familiar with this behavior. The Stoic journal is more than just a journal of daily events. There is room for introspection, to have a conversation with oneself, for analyzing feelings, making decisions, and reactions are where the outside world comes in. Meets the internal location of the events evaluated in relation to individual values and convictions. Imagine retelling when you wrap up your day. Not only what took place, but also how you replied. Why did you find a certain comment offensive? What caused that moment of joy to occur? While a routine task, by breaking down our day, we start to comprehend the trends of our psychologically. We begin to observe the triggers that affect our emotions and the principles that direct our choices and routines that influence our days. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius and the Stoic philosopher maintained a notebook that currently referred to as Meditations. It wasn't intended for release, but it was a private conversation, a place where he can lead himself as a reminder of Stoicism values and to negotiate the difficulties in his life with discernment. We perceive a man via his writings, struggling with his obligations, his feelings, and his position in the universe. But it's not necessary to be an emperor to advantage of keeping a Stoic journal in our distractions abound in modern life. With a never-ending flood of data, making time for self-reflection becomes much more important. Checking in every day is a grounding practice that gradually restores clarity in the middle of confusion. This behavior may result in significant insights. You may discover that specific stress is frequently caused by situations. Urging you to speak with them or alter your viewpoint, you may discover that particular behaviors, such as being thankful or mindfulness, improve your mood and observe the trends that appear. Act as a roadmap for individual development. Beyond revelations, a Stoic journal cultivates responsibility. By making a daily reflection commitment, we hold ourselves responsible for our responses and choices. It becomes more difficult to overlook persistent errors or to ignore mistakes in judgment instead. We are forced to develop, learn, and adapt. Essentially, maintaining a Stoic journal is similar to having a knowledgeable, non-judgmental friend by your side, always willing to hear, consider, and provide direction. It's an effort to grow personally, to better self-awareness, and to leading a life that is consistent with one's principles and values. Lesson number 6. View challenges as chances. The 6th lesson views barriers as chances. The world is full of obstacles, from individual setbacks to worldwide upheavals. Barriers are a natural component of the human experience. But suppose that rather than considering these difficulties to be weights, we see them as hidden opportunities. Stoics had a strong viewpoint on hardship. They think that while we cannot always regulate the circumstances that occur to us, we can manage our interpretation and reaction to them. A change in viewpoint changes obstacles from simple failures to important lessons. Marcus, a Stoic philosopher, once said, Aurelius captures this concept gorgeously. Action is advanced by the obstacle to action. The obstruction turns into the path. Consequently, every challenges can help us advance if we decide to view it as a chance for expansion. Think about a river that comes across a boulder in its course. Rather than halting, the water finds avoiding it, either by destroying either by gradually sculpting anew the route. The boulder and the seeming barrier becomes a change agent, transforming the river's path. Likewise, obstacles in our life can reroute our routes, frequently resulting in results that we hadn't anticipated. For example, losing a job is first heartbreaking, may present an opportunity for a new career path. To improve one's skills, or even the chance to launch a business of their own. A failing relationship could lead to, for self-discovery, personal development, and deeper, more significant relationships in the future. This Stoic outlook also encourages resiliency. As soon as we begin to observe obstacles as chances for us to more flexible and more prepared to face confronting hardship head-on rather than pondering why this is occurring. We start asking me what I can learn. How might this event influence me for the better? Naturally, this does not imply that we should look for obstacles or reject sincere difficulties. It's important to understand that every obstacle has the ability to germ of opportunity by fostering this seed with an optimistic outlook. With endurance and patience, we can turn roadblocks into opportunities, guiding us toward insight and growth satisfaction. Practice gratitude in Lesson 7. Practice gratitude in Lesson number 7 amid the enormous fabric of human feelings. Among the golden threads, thankfulness stands out, creating happy, contented moments and viewpoint on our lives. Although it's a feeling that can surface, the Stoics naturally held the belief that intentional practice of being grateful every day, one should anchor themselves in the here and now and value life's blessings. Saying thank you is only one aspect of being grateful. It's a profound recognition of the numerous forces, moments, and people things make our lives better. The goal is to acknowledge the beauty and the ordinary, the lessons learned, and the difficulties and the transient character of each experience, which makes it even more priceless. One well-known Stoic philosopher is Seneca. True happiness, it was once stated, is to relish the existing without fearful reliance on the future. This captures the spirit of gratitude is ingrained in the present, savoring each minute, encounter, and each exchange. Think about the small pleasures we frequently take the sun's warmth for granted. The sound of laughter on a chilly day, lunch with family, friends, or the very breath that keeps us alive. By taking a moment to recognize and value, we amplify their beauty during these moments and importance in our lives. Gratitude exercises also provide in opposition to the human propensity to pay attention to what's missing and unfulfilled. Based on future uncertainty, simply turning our attention to what we already have. Instead, we foster what we lack. Satisfaction lessens envious sentiments or bitterness and improve our general health and well-being. One may be curious about how to produce this method. It might be as easy as beginning or completing a list of 3 tasks to end the day you're appreciative of. This practice has the potential to change over time. Your perspective is increasing your receptivity to the gifts of life and stronger, despite obstacles. Additionally, thankfulness strengthens relationships via showing gratitude for the deeds of love, support, or compassion. We build relationships by receiving from others, encourage respect for one another, and establish a goodwill's positive feedback loop and love. In a society that frequently prioritizes more belongings, more accomplishments, more wants, being thankful serves as a gentle reminder of the abundance that is already present in our life. It's an invitation to honor the being there, to welcome life with open arms, and to walk the journey of life with a heart overflowing of gratitude. Ending on another day, as the sun sets, where echoes of ancient knowledge were left behind. In the contemporary world, how are you going to apply these Stoic lessons? Help influence your future? We're excited to hear your opinions and experiences. Post your thoughts in the comments section below, and let's carry on with this exploration of self-discovery in tandem. I hope the video was enjoyable to you, and I am. We appreciate you being here, and until next time, continue to be inquisitive and grounded. Never give up on acquiring wisdom.